Hello Idle Hero gamers and welcome back to my channel. My name is Light and today I'm going to show you how you can choose your first E5 hero in Idle Heroes. First of all, we are going to set some ground rules. If you are looking to play the most optimal and get the most progression as fast as you can on your account, then your first E5 hero is always going to be Eloise. I'm not going to go into any specific routes or how to build the different heroes or their support heroes. However, you can find plenty of resources on this on YouTube, like MKX Jumps videos, Barry Gaming, and in the official Idle Heroes Discord community, there are plenty of nice people that will definitely help you along. This video will more explain my thought process on how I explore new E5 hero paths and the supporting heroes around it. It opens up for you to be able to make some fun accounts that has sort of different feel than your just standard Eloise account. When choosing your first E5 hero, we need to check which tenants the hero has in the Cloud Island. The problem with this is that if you are a new player, this feature is going to be locked, and it only unlocks after you have made an E5 hero that is void imprinted to void 4, which can be a far way down the road for a free-to-play or low-spend player. Therefore, I am going to provide you with pictures and spreadsheets in the description box down below that is going to show you all of the homeowners and all of the tenants needed that you can see in the Cloud Island. So we are now going to go into the Celestial Island and then we access the Cloud Island, and here if you click on this little box you can see all of the homeowners and all of their tenants. The Cloud Island is a very important feature in Idle Heroes. It allows you to choose one householder, which you see on the left here, which is your main hero, which is going to be sort of in this guide your first E5 hero. And then you see tenant spot 1, 2, 3, and 4. The tenants are heroes that you're going to build that will support your hero, but what they also do is provide bonus stats to your heroes. So if I click on this house, then you can see my Star Swordsman Mockman is my main hero. And these are all the bonus stats he is gaining from my tenants. So what you can do is upgrade these little houses, and then they are going to give more and more stats to your main hero. So let's take a look at this list. The first thing I do when I would like to choose a new fun route for a hero is I click around on these 4 main factions and I choose what hero I want to build. If you are a very high spender or a whale, then Dark and Light can also be your first E5 hero. However, as a free-to-play or low spender, I would stay away from these factions as it is very hard to get food and also hero copies from these factions. So it's going to be a lot easier for you to build an E5 in the 4 base factions, and it's going to be important to get the E5 as soon as possible because then you unlock more features on your account. So let's use the Fortress faction as an example in this video. I will then look around and I will look for heroes that I maybe think looks cool, or maybe I will check out heroes that I think has cool and interesting abilities. And let's choose Inosuke for this example. Okay, so Inosuke is now going to be my first E5 hero. That means, of course, I'm going to need plenty of Inosuke copies, but then I also need to look at which heroes am I also going to build next to Inosuke. What's important is that you need to choose one tenant for spot 1, one tenant for spot 2, one for spot 3, and one for spot 4. So you're not going to build all 3 of these heroes, you're only going to build one. You're also not going to build all 3 of these, but only one tenant in each spot. Honestly, it's not really harder than that. You find your first E5 hero and then you find which tenants you want to build. What can be important when choosing tenants is try to read on their abilities, what sort of supportive abilities they have. As Inosuke is going to be my first and main damage dealer, I can look at these 3 heroes for tenant spot number 1 and I can analyze how they also would perform in the same team. Sia is a damage dealer, Saja is also a damage dealer, and both of these heroes don't really have any super great supportive abilities. However, Olivia is a very strong support that shrinks enemies and allows your team to deal bonus damage to those enemies. So therefore I would choose Olivia for tenant spot number 1 because she will be there to support my Inosuke. For tenant spot number 2, there really are only 2 options. It is Rogan or Holmes Young. Holmes Young can be a support in the fact that he has CC that doves the enemy heroes and makes them unable to do anything. So he can be a CC support, or we have Rogan that allows me to get more crit chance and crit damage and will also be able to support my team. For tenant spot number 3, we can either choose Freya or Fiona. However, I think there is a really cool synergy between Fiona and Inosuke. When Fiona is leveled up, she gives your allies a shield at the start of your round. And if Inosuke has an active ability ready and he already has a shield, it deals bonus damage. So I think that's a really cool supportive way for them to have synergy with each other. So I would choose Fiona here. And for the last tenant spot, I would not choose Mockman because he is a dark hero and we are going to struggle with dark food as a free-to-play low-spend player. I don't really want to choose Mirage either because now we have 1 Fortress Hero, maybe 2 Fortress Hero, and Inosuke is also a Fortress Hero, so that might be 3 Fortress Hero that we are going to build. So we're going to maybe struggle on Fortress food. That's why Morax is going to be my 4th tenant. Now we have chosen our 4 tenants. However, there might be some changes that we want to do, because I also like to sort of check out, okay, what can be my first Transcendence hero whenever I'm choosing an E5. So one hero that really makes sense to build as a first Transcendence hero, bear in mind we are still not talking about optimal progression here, this is more for fun and creating sort of an efficient route in hero building that doesn't require you to build many different heroes and regress heroes to sort of be allowed to choose your next Transcendence hero. So one Transcendence hero that makes sense with Inosuke and the different tenants we have chosen is Sword Flash Sia. We have the Fiona, which is one of Inosuke's tenants. We also have Inosuke himself. But then we are going to require a tenant in tenant spot 2 and tenant in tenant spot number 4. So we need to make a choice here. Are we going to focus on Sword Flash Sia's tenants that are also the same tenants as Inosuke and maybe skip 1 or 2 of Inosuke's tenants? Or are we going to make Inosuke as strong as possible? I believe that if you are a low spender or free-to-play player, then go for Inosuke's tenants first. You can always regress and build new heroes, and we really want to put as much power as we can into Inosuke as soon as possible because it's going to take a while for you to get the Transcendence hero. However, if you are a high spender, then you have more freedom and you can maybe start building Sword Flash Sia's tenants faster. But still bear in mind which tenants the Sword Flash Sia has, because that allows you to sort of save those hero copies also so you don't feed them on accident. And then you're done. You have now chosen your first E5 hero, you've chosen your first Transcendence hero, and you have chosen your tenants. From now, it's going to take a long while to progress to your second Transcendence hero, and when you get your second Transcendence hero, you are sort of going to go through the same process. So maybe you want for your second Transcendence hero to be Star Alchemist Holmes Young. Now you already have a Sword Flash Sia, so we have already the tenant for tenant spot number 2, and maybe you built Holmes Young as one of the tenants for Inosuke, so you already have a tenant for tenant spot number 1, and then you just need to build a Saja, and you just need to build an Azrael. So you see, it's not really that hard to choose your first E5 hero and your Transcendence heroes. However, again, I'm going to make a disclaimer, this is not the optimal way to progress in the game. However, if you think this is a fun way to play the game, then who cares? The most important value is you having fun. So if you think this is a fun way to play, then do it. That's why I have my free-to-play series, the Alchemist series, because I really wanted to try Holmes Young as my first E5 and Transcendence hero. So this was sort of how I chose Holmes Young and the first Transcendence hero, and it's going to be how I structure my account. because you really want to plan ahead in Idle Heroes, and it really makes it fun also if you're able to plan ahead and your plan works. And also, before everyone starts commenting, yes, I know there are artifacts route, there are pet routes, and there are many other things you also want to think about. However, this was just like a small insight on how I would do it if I wanted to do sort of a fun new E5 hero start route. So this is just my opinion or my strategy on how I would do it. If you have something different, then please share it down below. If you have any tips, then yes, by all means share them also. It really helps us grow together if we are all able to share tips with each other. So thank you for watching, and I hope you're doing alright. Goodbye.